Welcome to Watercolor Studio 42, and it's good to be back after the holidays. What I still have left at home, I have a couple of plants, and they're the poinsettia plants, and one of them is just loaded. My wife calls it like a double plant. Oh, it's just loaded in the pot with just all these flowers. So that's what I'm going to kind of do a sketch of today. And I've noticed when I've watched at home, the show, sometimes when I start off, I sketch always with a pencil. But when I sketch, I always sketch light. Dark enough so that I can see it, but it doesn't always show up well on TV. So I've done that with pencil, and what I'm going to add today is using a marker and just go over my pencil sketch that I did of my poinsettias at home. Now, sometimes you can do flowers. You can show parts of a flower or two or three. I like three, the uneven number, when I do like a close-up of plants and so forth, and flowers. And sometimes I show some of the stem going into the pot, but I just show the top edge of the pot, the container is there, not to do the whole thing. But it depends on, what it might call for. Sometimes the pot is very interesting shape and color and whatnot, so I do the whole plant. And but usually I'll do like a close-up. What I'm doing today, three blossoms of poinsettias. So I've sketched it light, very light for myself, and then I'm just going to go over this with the marker. Let's see what happens. All right. I guess I'm all set to go here pretty well. You know what I've been doing lately too? You don't have to put out all your colors on your palette when you're going to paint. You look at the painting and what you're going to do, and you say, okay, poinsettias, I'm definitely going to use the red, and I'm going to use some green, and for the seeds in the middle, it's sort of an off yellow. Maybe a little bit of a Rossiana or something like that. So those are just the colors I put out. And for some of the leaf part, of course, that's going to be green, but you don't see too much of that. It's all underneath. And usually the plant itself, all you see is flowing, petals. And you can tell why they call it a poinsettia, because the petals come out to a very sharp point, as you'll see in my drawing here. Okay, let's start up here. I'm using a marker, just a regular, not extra fine, but fine marker. And you want to have a little bit of a flare to it. You don't have to close it all in sometimes. You can leave it open. I like sometimes the petal to go right out to the edge, too, when I'm doing the picture. Okay, I'll do one to the edge. Right, actually go off a little bit and come back in. There you go. Maybe there's something out in here. That could be maybe another petal or maybe part of a leaf. The leaf has like a little vein in it, so it's separated from the flower part. But poinsettia right to a point. How's that? And then we'll put something to fill in this area through here. There's usually a little bit of space right in and around the plant where it goes in towards the center part. And I'll get back to the center. The center has like little seeds in it. I call them seeds. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, I think we have another flower right in here. I think I've done two. Yeah, I've done, two. And sometimes I'll show something else coming into the picture, maybe in this area. We'll see what I can do with it. Okay, we're going up here, point, out to the edge, okay, right out to the tape, over here to the tape, okay. This one can go down almost to the tape, come up a little bit short with the point. This one here can go out a little bit, okay. And then we might have part of the plant coming in here, and that's going to be a little bit of a filler to break up that the background. Let's see what we got here. This could be a leaf. Make that wider, and just show a little bit of the vein, the stems in it. Let's see. We could put. I was going to do another. Show another poinsettia come in. I can still show part of it coming into the picture. What else we have here? Let's see. Well, whatever. You can kind of add a few markings here and there, kind of hold things together. That can go to the edge if you want, to the tape. This could be possibly another leaf in here, just to break that empty space up. Wherever you see some sort of an opening in there, that could always be another petal, or it could be maybe a leaf. Let's make this probably part of a leaf, just to remind me. I put some veins in it, or whatever. Now, getting back to the little seeds in the center, they're kind of a little cluster in here, kind of going around. Very tight cluster, closed in quite a bit. Something like this. And over here, we'll do the same with this one. They look like the head on a golf club, you know, especially the wood, the shape. I always relate a lot of times the shapes of things to something else. Okay, something like that in the center. Now you can do as much of that as you want as far as detail. Now if you want to have anything else coming into the picture, you can, or you can just, fill that in. Maybe that's going to be a leaf here. Maybe something else coming out of here. Maybe that, just to close it in, okay, with something. I like to break up the corners a little bit. They say you should make every corner a little bit different. I don't know. Probably that's okay. What else? Something like that. And I don't know if I want to do anything else in here or not. I just maybe show something just to fill that space up. Let's see what, I have that go to the tape. Okay. So if there's anything else we need to do, we'll get back to that. Now, poinsettias are funny. I really didn't count the number of petals on it. Some poinsettias, they seem to have fewer petals than others, but some of the plants are very tight. They have a lot of petals, so if there's any space you want to fill up in the background, you can do that. There's always something you can use as a filler. Okay, now, I hope that shows up a little bit better with doing it with the marker. It helps me too, a little bit with it. Now, normally I just kind of do the background first, and you can do the background any color you want. We probably could do a nice soft yellow. Let's try that. Now, let's see. I talk about brushes. You don't need that many brushes, but I have so many brushes at home. I have a whole pack of them wrapped up in elastic bands at home. So you can put a little bit of yellow, Now, if you want to wet the paper first, that's okay, where the yellow's going to go. Okay, put a little bit up in there. All right, fill that in. You can go right to the edge, to the tape. Have that filled in here. Now, with any of these colors that you have, sometimes you can paint over it. I usually, if you're going to paint on top of another color, I make sure sometimes if you're not trying to mix it on the surface, I try to let one color dry before I paint something on another color on top of it. Maybe you've got some yellow over here. Okay, right to the edge, right to the tape. Don't leave anything open here. Right to the edge of the tape. The tape is like a false, mat, like a background. Okay, now that's that. Put a little bit more in here, if you will. Now we can always add, if you want to do some more outlining, that's fine. And another thing, sometimes I always keep my white acrylic handy, because if you want to hide some of the markings, maybe some of the permanent ink that I use when I sketch it over the pencil drawing, you can use some of that white, some white in there. Okay, you can water this down, spread the paint down, make different shades in there. You want it a little deeper here, just use the straight yellow. See how dark that is? And then if you want to pull that color out, you can. Go into here, give it a little background. Okay, maybe fill that in. Okay, something like that. A little bit over here, right to the edge. Okay, that's that. Fill that in a little bit more. Let's see, down through here. And by the way, you try to make the background a little bit of an interesting shape in itself too. Sometimes you can do that. Might want to add another little petal up into here, like an afterthought. Okay, here we go. Okay, a little bit down through here. Now you can wet the paper if you want. You can put, wet it down just with water if you want. Then when you put the color to it, it spreads around easier. You can spread the color out pretty easy that way. Come around the corner here, whatever you want to do with that. Kind of an open space in here. I might add some little thing in order to break it up. At home, the double plant, everything's tight. It was a very tight plant. So I've kind of opened it up a little bit more than what the one at home is. I didn't want to get it too tight. Okay. Now, if some of your paint gets into where the petals are, I don't worry about it. You're gonna paint them different shades of red, maybe. We'll see what we can do. If you're going to add like a shading or anything, I always start, put the light color in, and then if you want to shadow it, just put a darker shade over that. Rather than trying to do it in reverse. Sometimes you put a dark color in, you try to make it light, you waste a lot of extra paint trying to lighten it up, I should say. Okay. Here we go. Work that in around. Now, if you get, like I said, if you get a little paint on the petal, it doesn't matter because you're going to paint over the top of that anyways. And usually the color that you put on is probably going to hide some of the color. But you can let some of the yellow come through, you know. Makes it look a little bit more interesting that way. I used to blend colors together when I used to do a lot of coloring when I was younger, right? Coloring books. I would blend this color in, that color, one on top of the other. Okay, see how you can go darker, darker, darker? Down here, the corner can be darker. Right into here, you add some more paint in there. That corner is darker, the opposite corners. Okay, something like that. Now you can leave a little bit of white in there, and I should say you can have in one hand a paper towel. So if you want to touch up or blot an area, you can do that while you're painting. Sometimes you come in with a color, it might be a little bit too heavy or dark, and you can blot it. And watercolor, you know, overnight, it always looks a little bit lighter in the morning after you let it dry out really well. Okay. Now, if you're painting a lot of times outside, what I do a lot of times so that the paper or the paint doesn't dry out too fast because of the sun, the heat, and all that, I usually paint both sides with water. So I really saturate the paper, and it doesn't dry out quite as fast. This is when you're working, especially outdoors on a hot day. I never try to let the sun hit the paper directly. I keep the paper myself under an umbrella or in the shade, but you can look out into the light, but you don't want too much light hitting your paper. Even artificial light, sometimes, you know, you have too much light on the paper. It's hard for you to be able to see through that sometimes, to see what color you really have there, or if you've filled it in enough. Okay? Make sure we go right to the edge. Here we are. Now you notice that I jump around a little bit when I'm painting. I don't work in one particular area. I'll do here and jump over here to here. And I do that all the time. Some people just work out of a corner, you know, they'll just paint everything in here and work across. But I just deal with everything, you know, the whole area with the distribution of the color. Okay, now this is up to you. If you want, you could take, well, we could take a little hint of green, right? Let's take a little bit of our green here. I think it's green, I hope it is. I get my colors sometimes when I look at a color, you know, whoa, wait a minute. It's not the color I was looking for. But you can put hints of green in there if you want, just to make the background a little bit more interesting. Now when I do this, I gotta spread it out a little bit more. And this is where blotting comes in. Well, here's a towel in my hand, I'm reaching for another one. You can just hit it and blot it if you want, and kind of smooth it out. Just pull the color out until it fades, you know, fades into the yellow. It's just a filler for the background. I do this all the time. If I'm doing a painting, especially a woodland, I always kind of, fill in that background area, and makes it look a little bit more interesting, and fills it in more, the density of the woodland. Okay, let's go down here. Let's see. 1, 2. Oh, sorry. We could go maybe 3 up in there. Yeah. Okay. Come over here. 1. So that could be softer. You want to hit it a little bit heavier, put a little bit of darker shade in there. That's okay. Just pull it back out. Pull it down, soften it into the yellow. Let's go out here a little bit. Soften that around here. Okay. Kind of, make your eye kind of jump around to the colors. Okay, a little bit in here. Right to the edge, hit the tape, build that in. Okay, there we go. See how I just kind of jump around here? Distribution of your color. I used to use the word echoing. Echo, hello, green, green, green. Echo the color. All right, here we go. I don't worry about going into something else. Watercolor, if you notice a lot of times when you look at paintings, sometimes they'll leave a pencil mark, or they'll leave a color. They'll leave an area that's purposely not filled in. Okay, make that darker coming out of the corner. Something like this. Okay, I'll wiggle around here. Over here, some more of that. Okay. Distribution. Let's put a little bit more hint of yellow in here. Just coming out of there. Okay. Sometimes you do that, you do it a little bit to some of the other areas that are similar shape. You drop some darker shade in there. Okay. We used to have a lot of fun with coloring books. I think that helped me a lot with color, distribution of color, mixing color, that type of thing. And for a while there, a few years back, coloring books became very popular. All this unique patterns and designs that you'd have to work on, fill in. A lot of people got into that coloring. Different patterns and so forth. It's sort of faded out a little bit, but it's a nice activity though to get involved with. Yeah, that. Oh. Let's have some fun with this corner too. Put a little green up in there. There we go. A little bit over here. You kind of, jump around a little bit with the paint. Mm-hmm. Here's the yellow in there. Go right to the edge. Make sure you get some paint right to the edge. Don't leave anything open around the edges where your tape is, so that when you pull it off, you're going to get a nice sharp edge there. Okay, you can get the idea how that works. If something sometimes it doesn't look like it needs a little bit of, blending out, if you will, or blending in, just catch it. Okay, so now you got some soft things working in the background. Okay, and some of these things, this is going to be an actual a leaf in here. It probably could use a petal in there too, maybe. Yeah, how could I work that one out? Huh? Let's see if I can do this. Right, catch this here, and make that like another petal in there. And that kind of breaks up the leaf a bit. Okay, I got a leaf here. Well, we got the marker. Let's pick it up again. I thought I had another leaf in here somewhere. We could make something. Get that. Maybe put a leaf in here. Possibly. It could be in the background there. We'll see what we can do. Okay, now. If you want to continue using the same brush, that's up to you. You can use a little bit larger brush when you're doing the background. Probably fill it in faster. You don't have to be fussy if the paint goes somewhere else. Okay, now I put out on my palette 2 shades. I got a deeper shade of red. It's called Rose, and the rose has some blue in it, and so it kind of has that a little deeper shade, possibly leaning into pink or purple, type of thing. But I'm going to just start with the brighter, the reds. Okay. Let's do this one. Now, what I do is I paint the contour first. I go to the outside. Then fill in the middle. See how that works? Okay, right there, and just fill in the middle. Okay, next, out here. You can lift up on the brush if you want that point to come out better. And just wiggle the brush around in here. You can leave a little bit of highlight on there for now, okay? If it doesn't look quite right, you can take it out. But if you leave some highlight there, you can repeat that somewhere else on another petal. I don't know if when you talk about poinsettias, they really don't have a shiny surface, but they do have a very vivid, bright red surface. Okay, right around here, and come down around the bottom and wiggle it in. I think they have some plants that are also lighter stems. Okay, now, that's going to be a leaf. Okay, let's do this one. Swing up, fill in the middle. Now, if you want to leave a little highlight there for now, don't cover that in. You can also put highlight back in before it dries. Sometimes you can just soften it up this way. Take some of the red out. Okay, let's do this one. Go right over that little bit of green that got out of control there for a few seconds. Here we go. Put that in there. All right. Now you can leave that brighter if you want. or you can hit that with a little bit of highlight. This one looks kind of funny, so I'm going to fill that in for now. I hit that with a paper towel. Okay, now let's see, let's do this one. Right down in here, lift up. When you get to the end, and make a nice point. And you could leave some highlight in this one. I just fill that in also. There you go. All right. I think I made that into a leaf there. Okay. This is kind of a little bit in back of the other one, so I'll put a little bit later on. We'll put some shadow in there. There we go. Fill that in. Okay. So now we're getting there, huh? Let's do this up in here. Lift up. Go out to a point. Do the other edge and fill in the middle. Leave a little highlight in it if you want. I left a little bit of highlight over here too. Okay, this one's coming in from the outside. There we go. Now that's another thing too. You can hide some of the black marker if you want. You can with the color. See how I went over the black here? You can still notice it coming through, but not as much. There we go. Okay, that could be. Yeah, yeah, I guess I can get away with that. I'll make that another leaf of slot. Now, let's finish these two up here. Whoops, that's a dry brush effect. Literally a dry brush, no water on it. There we go. I don't know if you want the highlight there, you don't have to. You can take that out if you want. Bring this in here a little bit. See where oh, we got a couple more to do here. Okay. There we are. Okay, now. Oh, we got a couple more over here. Go right to the edge. Fill that in if you want. Want to leave a little highlight there, you can. And we'll just go out to here. Fill that in. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now, what else? I'm always finding another petal I haven't done here. Here we are. I think this might be the last one, but I'm not sure of that either. Okay. Now, some artists, when they paint, especially watercolor anyways, they leave a lot of highlight coming through. And some of them, they leave too many specks of white. And sometimes it almost looks like snowflakes coming down in the summertime, type of thing, with all the white left, those white specks. So you have to be careful. You don't want to leave too much white in there. You have to make that decision how much you want to leave into it. Okay. Now, there might be a little bit of a few little things off here and there. If you want to make this a little darker, this one looks a little bit, needs a little bit more color. Just give it another coat. Okay, something like that. Now, excuse me. Wow. Now, you could take some of your green, and that could be a petal coming into the picture. It's a little bit dark, and just water it down. It could be a petal out there. Or it could be I said petal, I meant leaf. Could be a leaf coming in. This could be a little bit of a darker shade coming in here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Something like this. Okay. Now, if we wanted this to be a leaf here, what we could do is take some of the green out of there and make a darker contrast with this green here. Sometimes you don't want to put too much green up against the green. Okay, let's see if I can fill this one in a little bit more. There we go, something like that. Now, wherever you see an area that could use some filler, like maybe something in between here, you could drop something like that. And don't leave it like this, right? Just take your water on your brush and just pull that edge out. See, blend it out until it hits another shape somewhere. Yeah, something like that. This looks a little bit light through here. You can darken that up. Yeah, you want to kind of fill in the background a little bit more. And while we're thinking about it, I'm going to fill this one in over here. Now you want to make that contrast a little bit more. We can do that. Let the paint dry a little bit more there. Yeah, a little bit of green going up into there. And let's finish this one off. Get some white areas here. I'm going to do this, and we're going to do a little bit over here. Okay, something like that. This can be a little bit darker through here if you want. Okay. Now you notice some of the green got into the red, so you already got some shading on there. A little bit of shading. Okay, let's finish off some of these in here. You know, on plants, sometimes when they dry out a little bit, they also turn color. Oh, let's fill this one in. Okay. I don't know what's happening there. Let's see what's See what we can do with that white area. Quiet it down. Now, if you feel some of the petals are a little bit on the maybe pinkish side, you can always go over them darker. Now, if I had a little bit more time, I'd let this dry out some more before I started another color on top of it. Okay. Some of these colors can kind of blend them around. Now, if you got too much highlight in there, just quiet it down. Just go over a little bit. Okay. Now, what I've got here, we're going to take some of that other red. It's a little deeper color. Oh, I think I've got it. I don't want that one. Here we go. Now this one here is a little bit darker. I use it for shading sometimes. Put some shadow on the petals. And they've got a name called quinacridone rose. Quinacridone rose is actually a lizard. Yeah, you can darken them in a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of shading in there. You could do that with the color. You could use a little bit of black in there if you want, or Payne's gray. Okay. Now, if it's getting a little bit too loose in here, I mentioned Payne's gray. Now, Payne's gray can be mixed with another color. You could put the Payne's gray in with any of your colors if you want a quick way of getting a darker shade. So if you got let's say an area that you want to kind of close in, make it much darker, you certainly can use the Payne's gray, something like that. You know, if you want to fill up an area. If it's too light, you could always fill that in a little bit more. Mix up a darker shade. Even, see how you can go darker here? Okay. Now, if I was painting this a little bit slower, I probably would be more cautious about not going over the edges too much. Okay. See if I can pull some of this out. You don't want to get too busy. All right, come around the corner here. Pull this back. Something like that. Now you get a little bit of different shading in there. Anytime you want something to jump out, you just put a darker color next to it and it pops it right out. If this, let's say up in here, this is too light, watch this. You see how you can make that corner darker? Except you want to do it a little bit more cautiously than I just did. something like that. Oops. And nice. Pull that shading over there. That's kind of really. Now, if you get that painting too much like that, I just pull it out. Just blend it out of there. You can hit it with a paper towel if you want. Yeah, just lighten it up. Okay. Yeah. Soften that out. And introduce that somewhere else. You can put another, that shading repeated somewhere over in here. Now, what you have to be careful about, you don't want to get too smudgy or blurry, but some artists purposely have things blur out towards the edges. Okay, I'm getting a little bit messy with this over here. What I usually do is I let it dry out some more, and take the paper towel and come in and do a lot of blotting. And sort of soften that out. Now, what I'm doing is a little bit going ahead of myself because I'm filling in and not finishing what I started. That looks too light. Just quiet it down. Just pull your colors around here and there. Make sure you go right into the corner. Go to the tape. There you go. Now, there'd be certain things that will jump out, excuse me, a little bit more. And later on, after everything is dry, you can't do it now, but you can go over your dark with a marker, outline things a little bit more, okay? Now I'm going to just put some color in the center where the seeds are. I call them the seeds. I'm not quite sure. They look like sort of like little seeds in there. Okay. You can kind of tame it down a little bit if you want. Use some of that. If you want to put a little bit of shading in there, just tap it a bit. And put some shading back in that. Now, what you have to be careful about is sometimes you leave some of these little areas, you know, they look like they have too much. So just soften, take some of the edge away. It just makes the petal a lot smoother. A little bit of touch-up work, you know, so if you don't want too much highlight there, just tame it down, just take some of that out. Okay. This is kind of a decent work over into here. So you get the idea that, you know, you're manipulating around, and I'm just trying to show you how you distribute the color, but I'd probably be a little bit more selective as to what I'd be doing with this, you know, not just jumping around all over the place. Deciding what I wanted to do with it. Okay. Now that doesn't show up enough, does it? We could make that darker. I'm making that another, it's supposed to be another petal in there, or leaf, I guess. Take some of that out of there. A little bit of too much yellow. You can quiet some of these areas down somewhat. Okay, so it's just a matter of just going around. That doesn't look good here. You just erase it. Okay, you take some of that, water it out. Just go around. Finishing touches to it. A little bit too much light up in there. If you don't like that highlight, just take some of that and quiet it out. Okay. Make the corner a little darker. Now, this looks a little bit too much. I'm just putting a little bit more green back into it, not. Make it look like it's fading away. Okay, so anyways, this gives you an idea. You can manipulate and work it around. If you took more time, you could close in. The petals are really, like, see how open it is through here? Well, you could fill that in more if you want. The plant I have at home is just loaded. It's solid color. And, you can see what you could do with it. Now, I put the masking tape around the edges here so that I can supposedly remove it, maybe, easier. I say that sometimes, but it's not that easy. Okay, whoops. Now, if that end's a little bit tough, let's try this edge. Maybe we can get it on this side. Okay, here we go. Whoops. Okay. He gives it sort of a false matte look around the edges. Usually most watercolors, the artist will matte them. You can use a single matte. This would be sort of a single matte edge. Or you can use one with a liner. I try to do this to make it easier. This is real good tape. It really might be too good sometimes. Yeah, that looked bad. When you pull the tape off, boy, that's a tough edge. See how it cleans up the edge? Okay, I guess I get most of it. All right. Well, anyways, this gives you an idea. So kind of a little quickie painting of some poinsettias. But this is how I usually work it, though. I do the background sometimes and do the petals, and then the little fussy center seeds or whatever they are in the middle type of thing. And it works out pretty well. But you could still clean it up. There's some spots in this one right in here, like that looks like it's a little bit muddy. So let it dry, and then if you want, you can white it out and go over it again. If you touch it up, if you would like to. So anyways, I'm running out of time here, so we'll just say, till next time, brush us up, and we'll see you. Okay? Take care.